The Water and Sanitation Minister Pemmy Majodina will host high-level delegates at the preparatory meeting ahead of the African Union Africa Water Investment Programme Water Investment Summit. Now, the summit, scheduled for later this year, aims to raise at least $30 billion for annual climate-resilient water, as well as sanitation initiatives across the continent. And as the stakeholders, discuss these challenges, let's look at the role that South Africa plays, given some of the water challenges in the country. Listening to some of what you've had to say, let's speak now to the Deputy Minister of Water and Sanitation, David Mahlobo, who's joining us this evening. Deputy Minister, good evening to you, and thank you so much for your time. So, let's speak about the significance of this meeting ahead of the G20 summit that we are expecting later on.
Thank you very much, System and the team. Our apologies for not logging in. There is a problem with my technology here.
Not a problem. You can go ahead.
Today was the first day in which there was a high-level consultation on the technical teams led by our department, working with various countries, with the African Ministers Committee, the technical one, the SABC team, and all of them that are here, including Saudi Arabia, the Netherlands, and other partners that are here. In the main, they are preparing for a meeting of a high-level consultation tomorrow with Minister Pemmy Majodina, supported by ourselves, President Kwikwete, who is the co-chair. They have decided to bring the issues of water during the presidency of South Africa for the G20, which is for the first time in Africa, to mobilize resources. As we are quite aware right now, the world in the main, especially us as developing economies, will not be in a position to meet our SDG goals, especially goal number 6, around to access to water and sanitation, including our own domestic developmental plans. Therefore, the team has met. They are looking at options to say what will be the financing mechanism where we can be in a position to mobilize finances, especially to finance this water sector for about 330 billion rands. We know that globally we need about 7 trillion rands just to deal with the issues of water and sanitation.
So, Deputy Minister, pardon me for coming in there. I just want us not to lose that point that you mentioned, to say that they're going to be mobilizing these resources. But is it a money problem or is it a willingness problem, especially given the fact that we keep talking about this infrastructure that needs to really either be built or being maintained?
One of the biggest problems over quite some time was the leadership issue and the commitment. We know now that the United Nations over the last few years, they have no longer made issues of water and sanitation to be a sideline issue. Even on the Conference of Parties, which is COP, they've been able to discuss the water issue. Hence, the high-level review, the high-level panel, that the African Union, excluding the African Committee on Ministers, they've chosen that the water issue should not be taken lightly because it has an impact on social issues, economic issues, environment, including the security of our continent, because you will not live without the question of water. The fact of the matter that the African Union has been in a position to engage President Cyril Ramaphosa as the chair of the G20, that the issues of water must be on the sideline towards the conclusion of the G20 that the country will hold later in Johannesburg towards the end of the year, is an important issue. The second problem that we've been facing, it has been the delivery mechanism. The issues of institutional capacity and capabilities, that most of these institutions charge with the responsibility to provide water, including the issues of economic benefits. Therefore, the team, even this afternoon, they discussed the delivery mechanism in terms of proper governance, thrown in from the private sector and other organizations, in a form of concessions, special purpose vehicles, even other mechanisms that we can agree on, especially you build, own and operate. But financing has been the biggest problem.
So,
in terms of the financing, there are issues of agreement to say there is traditional financing, which is normally coming from governments in terms of grants and subsidies, that must be properly utilized. Then there's an issue that you need to go for blended finance, where you'll go to the market and borrow money, but you'll have to be able to put a collateral. That's what they will look at. Then there's money available because of issues of climate change and issues of green economies, where you look at the blue bonds and the green bonds around the question of waste management system, and then there's a private side. Therefore, the teams for Africa must be able to present bankable projects, not conceptualization, wherein each country will be able to say, this is our major project that we want to be funded. All the things are around designs, issues of regulatory issues, EIAs, the water use licensing. They must be sorted, because if we go there, we still say we want to do planning, we will not be in a position to get the money we need. But then create the incentives for private sector to come in terms of administrative prices, where you give them tax breaks.
Yeah.
We are in a position to ensure that there is issues of uptake. You know who's going to come in and be able to pay for that particular water.
One of the big things, right, is that all these plans, well and good, can take place at a high level. But if somebody does not have water in their taps, these conversations mean nothing to them. And I want us to take some of the tweets and you look at, ahead of human rights, for example, we're asking our viewers tonight to share their lived experience as far as water challenges are concerned in some of the areas where they live. And I'm going to read some of what they're saying, and then keen to hear your thoughts on this one. ZB says, let Human Rights Day be cancelled. We can't have that day while our parents in Zibediela are queuing for water for the whole day and sometimes go back home without water under the Lepelle Nkumbi and Councillor Sirutle Phatla. We need a better government. Lechasa, obviously this day is an insult to community of Zibediela, Mahlobo, where some members are urged to drink water with animals at the lakes. I personally have to travel 1 kilometer to get water. Sonia, I don't understand why we have a day called Human Rights Day, because our rights are violated. Kudeng Zibediela, we get water from those who got drilled holes, 2 rand per 20 litre plus pushing the wheelbarrow. Deputy Minister, there seems to be a problem in Zibediela. And I don't know how much do you know of it, especially under this Lepelle Nkumbi local municipality that we keep hearing about from our viewers on a number of issues. And tonight, they're highlighting the issues of water.
There are a number of areas in our country that we must admit when they don't know the drop of water, where it will come from, and the number of municipalities that fail to discharge that responsibility. And hence why the President and the Minister of Water and Sanitation next week, on the 27th, 28th, we are actually convening in Galaga Estate, so we can agree on a turnaround plan on how to help these municipalities. Over the last 8 years, a number of them have done well, and others have dismally failed. That's why when you look at our drop reports, North Rock, where they lose a lot of water, you look at the issues of water quality, the blue drop and the green drop. But in Lepelle Nkumbi, in terms of our Department of Water and Sanitation, we are doing a project called Olifant Ebenezer Project to bring water to Lepelle Nkumbi and Bulugwane using the Ebenezer scheme. Already that particular project has started. It's actually is about 4.2 billion rands, because there's a water deficit around Bulugwane and the Capricorn District Municipality. And the Capricorn District Municipality, while we are supporting them in terms of this blended finance using also our RD, that municipality must work with communities. They must ensure that they provide water in the meantime, whether through tendering, whether they are doing those particular boreholes, and communicate with communities if there are issues of non-provision,
so
including the issues of responding timelessly on their matters.
I'm going to ask you to pause on that, because there's a question I want to ask you just about what you've just said. But we've got Richard from Limpopo on the line. Richard, good evening.
Good evening. How are you?
Good, thank you. Please go ahead. What's your question or comment?
Our comment is that we do have, in Vembe district alone, we do have 8 dams, and one is Nandoni, is supplying area of Kian, whereas our people here in Vembe, they don't have water. The minister is aware that the local community in Mosina, they have banned the municipal office simply because they were struggling to say they don't have water. Now we have got the 32 million budgeted 2015 to 2021, the water scheme that was at Chilamba, and now it's budgeted more. What is the minister doing about the corruption, about the corruption that is happening regarding the water supply?
All right.
As for instance, we talk of Muchezi, that has been supposed to be handing over in 2024, but it's not complete, and the water is not going to the community like Biaba and other places.
Okay, thank you, Richard. Pardon me, Richard. Thank you so much. We do get a sense of what you're saying. Deputy Minister, how do you respond?
The issues around water challenges in the Vembe district, we know now that they do have some boreholes in Mosina. Those they are within the river called the Limpopo River. They were not actually placed in terms of the issues of disaster management. We supported them to fix those particular boreholes then. But we know that for their Mosina, Makado, SEZ, so that they can have economic opportunities. That's why we decided to enter into a memorandum of understanding with the Republic of Zimbabwe. We are bringing the water for them. When you look at the big bridge in terms of treated water, that would require about 30-something kilometers. We are using EDSA on our side, but also Zimbabwe, they are using the other side. And then the issue of Nandoni Dam, we are attending them. Issues of corruption are a phenomenon in the water sector, which also include issues of vandalism and killing of our people. Minister, on the 25th of April, will be signing a memorandum of understanding of March, memorandum of understanding with the SIU and other law enforcement agencies to establish a water and sanitation anti-corruption forum, so we can be able to clamp on these issues so that money that is meant to provide water, which is a right in terms of our constitution, is not denied to the citizens.
Right.
But we need also to protect the whistleblowers so that they can be in a position to assist the state to root out these ills.
It sounds like you might have to, again, possibly go to Limpopo because there are now these issues, but also we need to reach out now to the Lipele Nkumbi, a local municipality, and find out exactly what's going on, because you are saying...
They are supplying the authority that provides water there is Capricorn.
We'll find Capricorn, but we just need to find the municipality also to get a sense of what's going on, because you are saying they must communicate with the people. We'll need to find out if that communication is indeed taking place, and if people are aware of what's going on there, as you say, that they need to provide water either through tankering or any other forms. We'll then at least get a sense of what's going on there. But Deputy Minister, thank you so much for your time.